Hello, beautiful soul, and welcome back to The Voice Within. Today, I want to start in a bit unusual way. Today, I want to begin with a story. There was once a woman who carried 2 heavy buckets of water every single day from the river to the house. She had a husband, and her husband, he loved her, but he only noticed how heavy are those buckets when the water started spilling out, when her shoulders were in pain, or when she would drop those buckets on the ground. Whenever he would notice how heavy are those buckets, he would rush to pick them up, and he would tell her, "Don't worry, I've got this." And he would carry the buckets back into the house. And the woman, she felt relieved. She felt, finally today somebody is helping me. Finally somebody is carrying the load for me so I don't have to carry these buckets all the way to the house. But the thing is, the next day, the next morning, the buckets were back in her hands. Again, she was walking until her body was hurting her. Again, he only saw how heavy are those buckets when she would drop them on the ground. She couldn't understand why she feels the way she feels. He's helping her. He's there. He's trying to help her when the things become heavy, but still she felt completely unseen. At night, when the day was gone, she would talk to her husband and she would tell him, "Can you help me more? Those buckets, they are very heavy for me." And then he would tell her, "But am I not helping you already? Am I not helping you every single day when I see you need help? What else you want me to do?" And the woman, she would go quiet. She would go into her bedroom, sometimes cry, and ask herself, why does it feel so heavy? Why he doesn't see how heavy is this for me? It's true, he's helping me, but still, I don't see that he see me. I don't see that he understand how heavy are those buckets for me. And one of those nights, when she was crying over the heavy water buckets, she went to the mirror and she looked at herself in the mirror. And maybe for the first time, she noticed how heavy were those buckets for her. She felt the pain in her shoulders, she felt the pain in her hands, in her arms, her back was hurting her, all of her body was hurting her. And maybe this was actually the first time that she noticed herself, that she noticed how heavy were those buckets. She went to her husband and she told him, "Do you see how heavy are those buckets? Do you only see them when they fall down on the ground? Do you see how my hands are red long before they bleed? Don't you see that you're supposed to protect me? Don't you see that you're supposed to stop me from reaching this point in the first place?" And the husband looked at her in that moment in the way he never looked at her before. He was only looking at the buckets. He was only paying attention when she would drop the buckets on the floor. But that day, when she opened up, when she told him what she needs, that's the day he finally looked at her, the woman behind the buckets. And when he did look at her like a woman, he saw what she had always needed him to see. Not just the weight that she was carrying, not just the buckets of water, but the woman underneath, the woman carrying those buckets of water day by day from the river to the house. For a long time, this was me. I have very, very supportive husband. He was always helping me. He was always jumping in whenever I would needed him. Without me even telling him, he would notice the moments where I need the help. But still I felt in some way unsupported. Still I felt in some way unseen. He would do the tasks, he would take our son out so I can rest, he would cook the meal, he would handle the logistic part of the family. In my body, inside of myself, I felt invisible. Not because I was invisible to him, but because I was invisible to myself. And until I became visible to myself, he was not actually able to see the woman underneath everything I was carrying. This is where so many marriages get stuck, especially once the children come, especially when attention from one on another shifts to the child. I think that in a man and a woman there is polarity, doing and being. The men are trained to show love by fixing, by providing, by doing, by fixing what is visible. And women on another side, we crave love. We crave that attunement, that presence, that witnessing without us actually saying what we need. When you pay attention on your life, on your marriage, you will notice that you usually say your needs when you collapse, when you already reach the place where you cannot carry it anymore alone. You maybe start shouting, or you rage, or you give silent treatment. If you are honest with yourself, by then it's too late for attunement. It's too late for the presence. You already reached the level of the burnout. And if we don't see ourselves for what we are carrying and we actually ask for what we need, we will constantly live in override. We basically don't leave space for a man to step in. Every single person in this world has that two polarities inside of us. In some spiritual circles, in industry of the coaching, they call it two energies, the male and female energy. The male energy is focused on doing, fixing, finishing tasks, one after another one, pa. On another side, femininity energy is in attunement, it's in the presence, it's in that floating state, the love, the emotion, the connection, the things that just woman can bring. When the woman is constantly in override, she is basically operating from her masculine energy. And when she is constantly in the masculine energy, she is kind of blocking attunement for a male. Because male on another side, he is trained for fixing and finishing visible things, things that he can see, things that he can feel, that he can fix, that he can contribute. So when the woman is the one doing that fixing, he doesn't basically notice that there is any space for him to do anything, because at the same time, woman is not communicating what else she needs, because she doesn't see herself in her feminine energy, in her emotions, in her need to have attunement with the male. So what happens? She push, she overfunction. He doesn't do nothing because he doesn't see anything visible to fix. She collapses. Now there is something visible. She starts shouting and screaming and reacting, and then he jumps on into fixing that particular moment because everything before that was completely invisible to him. In the male head, he thinks, if the tasks are handled, she will feel loved. If I handled something that she cannot handle it today, but she will be able to handle it tomorrow, he thinks this is what makes woman feel loved. But in the woman language, she is saying, I need you to feel me, not just to fix me. I need you to feel me before I reach that point of collapse. And maybe you have this feeling in your marriage, maybe you know this, that moment when your partner takes care of the things, but you still kind of feel lonely inside of yourself. It's like he maintained the stuff, but he didn't notice you, woman, with the feelings, with emotions, with that need for attunement. You don't even know how to explain to him what exactly you need. You don't want just co-worker in parenting and in the household. You want a man who can feel your soul, not just your schedule, who can be attuned with you before you collapse, who can feel the gaps where you are about to collapse and prevent you from reaching that point in the first place. Love that lands on our soul, that love doesn't feel like maintenance. It feels like presence. It's that moment where he sees when you are starting to go quiet and he asks you what would feel good for you in this moment. It's not waiting for you until you break, but attuning, feeling you before you collapse. And this was a big question for me. How do I explain male to feel me? Because in the male language, they are doing every single thing which proves love. And it does. That is love. Words without actions, they are just empty words. We need actions as well. But for the woman, for some reason, I don't know, the God created us that way, that we need that attunement, that we need that presence, that we need that feeling of male protecting us from even reaching the point of breaking or collapse. And I was thinking a lot about how do I make my husband see this? How do I show him this side of me? On the outside, everything was fixed and managed, and there is no single thing where I can say that he didn't do something. But there was that part of me that I didn't take seriously. I didn't took my emotions seriously. I thought that he will not understand it, and all of these things are blah blah blah, woman thing, and just keep it quiet. If we are honest, the world teach the woman that her emotions are inconvenient. But if we are honest with ourselves, when you express your emotions at their peak, at their highest level, when you already reach the level of rage, those emotions are inconvenient. It's like adult person throwing tantrums. But if we start taking our emotions seriously and expressing them before we reach the peak, then there is a space for man to hear actually those emotions and attuned with it without need to defend himself. Whenever you speak in collapse, in the place where you already reach no turning point, where you just want to get everything out, every person, not just man, will hear and feel that like attack. But when you speak from calm, from feminine place, from honesty, from that place where you express what exactly do you need, he is able to hear you actually. And then magic happens. When you do this, when you start taking your emotions seriously, expressing them as they coming, not when they reach the point of resentment and then you are in rage, the man, he begins to attune. He begins to see that side of you beyond collapse. He starts to see that woman who is carrying buckets of water from the home to the river. He starts to notice that in order for you to be okay, he has to find a way to prevent you from carrying those buckets in the first place. He has to protect you from reaching the point of collapse. He starts to understand that you don't need just maintenance. You need to feel loved, you need to feel safe, you need to feel seen. So don't let me reach that point where I collapse. Protect me from my own collapse before I reach that place. Here I'm talking about the males who are ready to elevate their marriage, for the males who love their woman, who want to change something, healthy marriages. I'm not in this podcast episode going into the places where males really don't want to take responsibility, and no matter how vocal is the woman and she express her needs, he doesn't hear her. That is completely different conversation from this conversation today. This conversation today is about healthy marriage, about that relationship and that attunement and feeling where we can actually elevate our relationship if we allow ourselves to be completely seen in our own fullness like a woman. When we allow ourselves that femininity to express who we are under that load that we are carrying. And we often, like a woman, we complain and say, do I have to tell you every single thing? Do I have to paint it on the wall so you understand it? If we are honest, yes, we have to. Why? Because if you look at your man, you will see that he didn't had place or chance to actually attune with the woman in that way. He was maybe not married before. He couldn't learn it from his mother, neither he could learn it from his sisters. It's completely different dynamic. Males in this world, they are raised to fix, to push, to do the things, to fix what is visible. If you don't make your emotions visible to him, not in rage, not in attack, but in calmness and femininity, he doesn't understand what does he needs to fix. But when you express your emotions and you show it clearly, practically for him, what exactly he needs to do, he will understand where is it space for him to fix something, to change something. Because on the end, the loving man, the father, the husband, his goal always on the end is happy wife, happy house, happy family. This is his goal, the protection, taking care for the family. But if he doesn't actually see that emotion that you are carrying, he will not know what exactly he's supposed to fix. This is why so many times they say, what do you want me to do? I'm helping, I'm doing, you are still not happy. And we are not happy because we don't take our emotions seriously. We don't express them when it's time to express them, not when it's uncontrollable and we have to express them in volcano, in explosion. So how do we express those emotions? How do we show them actually what do we need? It's very simple and very basic. I need you to hold me right now. I need you to take the baby before I ask you so I can take the shower in peace. I need you to manage this part of the house or this part of a routine or the schedule, and I don't want to think about it anymore. Please, I will sit with you, I will explain you, but I want to remove this thing from my head. Today was heavy day. Can you just hold me? Don't try to fix anything. Don't give me advices. I just need to be next to you. Can we find a way to delegate the tasks which are heavy for me to do? Can we get the cleaner? Can we, order groceries? What can we do so I don't even reach the point of collapse? How can you support me? Not just maintain me when I'm already down, but help me to don't even reach that point. And do you see dynamic here? It's not asking from him to save you, but actually you taking responsibility for your own emotions, you taking responsibility for how you feel in your life, you not allowing yourself to reach that point of collapse, and then communicating with your husband or with your partner, how can you satisfy that need in yourself? It's not accusing, but opening your needs and your emotions on the plate without attack and saying, I cannot carry this anymore. How can we find another way? It would be maybe saying, not take a baby so I can take a quick shower. I'm going to take a shower. I will be away for the few hours. I'm gonna light up the candles and put the music. Please, can you take everything? I need this right now. We often, like a woman, we feel selfish to say something like this, especially those who are grown up in the cultures where praise the woman's sacrifice. How can you leave the man carrying everything by himself while you are running bath with the candles? We have to work on changing this mindset. We have to work on understanding what do we deserve, what do we need in our life. In order for him to attune with you, he has to first feel that you are attuned with yourself. You first have to attune yourself, with what you need. What is your desires? What is your needs? What is your emotions? And then express them openly. What is the actual problem and how he can help you? And when your emotions, they became visible, when there is something visible for him to fix, he will step in to help you. He cannot feel you if you don't show him the woman beneath the mother, if you don't show him the woman beneath the wife. You have to show who you are under all of the roles you are playing. Me taking my emotions seriously, me taking my sensations seriously, and really moving from the personal responsibility in the way I communicate my emotions and sensations, in the way I take care for myself, in the way I express my needs to my family, completely shifted how I feel in my life. First of all, support, I always had it, but the moment I took ownership over the things I feel inside of myself and started communicating it with the people I love, everything shifted. It became magical. It became that attunement where we feel each other before we collapse, where we protect each other to don't even reach the point of collapse. And this has nothing to do with the life circumstances or how much we can afford or what we can do. It's just that basic feeling of each other. The feeling where I feel right now you need a break. I don't see you reach the point of collapse. I just feel that you would need time alone. I just feel that you would need this. And for the man to reach that point, to feel you in this way, you have to start feeling yourself in that way. You have to start taking your sensations and your emotions very, very seriously and express them in dignity, in grace, when they are at their neutral level, when they are just there, present, without rage, without attack, without accusing. Just, this is what it is, and this is what I feel, and how can we partnership right now, help each other so I avoid possible collapse later. That will be all for today's podcast episode. If you found it useful, feel free to share it with those who would benefit from hearing this conversation today. Until the next Sunday, I wish you a beautiful rest of the day.